Tennessee State head coach Eddie George. Tigers looking for their first win of the season still. They're going to host Bethune-Cookman this weekend at Nissan Stadium, their annual homecoming game. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team, and we'll go to some questions.
Yeah, just right now, like you said, we're looking for our first win, trying to build some confidence, getting some guys healthy again. Hopefully we'll have a few key guys back that we didn't have last week playing against Lane College. I think in total we were down 10 starters between offense and defense. And we're starting to get those guys back, and we're going to need everybody really to take on Bethune-Cookman. I don't look at anybody's record. I look at matchups, and this team again creates some problems for us in terms of they're very aggressive up front on the defensive side of the football. They're sound, they're solid, they have great size, they have good team speed, they're well coached. On the offensive side, they have a few guys that are some playmakers. At receiver, the quarterback is very elusive and nifty. So we have to be mindful of him in quarterback runs. The running back, he gets on the edge, could be a problem for us. And special teams wise, the return game is something that we're going to have our hands full in. So we got to know where to have the ball placement. If we're in punt, we can't allow the punt returner to have seams. So we have our work cut out for us this week.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to questions. Mike Organs first. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Eddie, you mentioned getting some key starters back too. In particular, I was wondering about were obviously quarterback Draylon Ellis and Devon Starling. What are their statuses? Do you expect them to be able to practice this week?
Yeah, they took some snaps today. Draylon is still a little pretty sore. He's working through it. He will be a game time decision once again. The same with Starr. He's coming off of a turf toe. He looked okay today. Again, we're kind of limiting his practice reps. And again, he'll be a game time decision as well. So we're getting some bodies in there that are going to get some reps at both positions, and see what happens.
Eddie, that was a tough loss last week. What do you say to fans who are worried about the direction of the program being 0-4 at this point?
Yeah, 0-4 does not look great at all. But I choose to look at the positives in it. We're still very competitive, despite the mishaps that we had within the game against Lane College. Certainly the turnovers didn't help us at all. And we found a way to compete in the game, find a way in overtime to put ourselves in position to win it, and just didn't fall in our favor right now. So again, this is not an overnight fix. This is not a situation where you add a few pieces and you're winning championships. This is going to take some time to figure it out. To get the right pieces, the right parts, the right bodies in the building holistically. And you're going to have to go through these times to figure that out. So we have 22 new players on our team. And this is a relatively new team that we're still developing chemistry. And we're going to take it game by game and figure out who we are through this and go from there. So you can't necessarily look at the fact that we're 0-4, where are we going? You have to look at, the quality that we've done, look at the fact that we were able to still run the ball completely one-dimensional effectively last week for over 200 yards. We're doing some good things defensively. It's got to get off on third down. So we're getting closer. So I just think, just remain patient and understand, the health and kind of the state that we got the program in and where we're trying to take it. And that's going to take some time.
Thanks, Eddie.
Next, we got Brandon King from HBCU Go. Go ahead, Brandon.
Right. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Brandon. How you doing?
Doing well. Have you started kind of pre-planning for how you're going to attack the BCU defense? Looking at primarily some of their numbers, they seem to be very struggling against the run. They're averaging over giving up 240 yards a game. So, you said, how are you going to look at attacking the Wildcat defense?
Well, numbers can be deceiving, Brandon. When you look at them on tape, I see a unit that's very aggressive. that fits runs really well. They've been out of position a lot of the times, next correctable. But when you look at the personnel, they have the girth up front, they have the size, they have the athletic ability to create problems for our offense. So we're looking at, doing what we do as an offense. We're going to have to be more balanced than we were last week. We can't depend on the run, be so run heavy, because they have the bodies up there to stifle the run and get us behind the chains and force us in situations that we're not quite good at yet. So we're going to have to really spread the ball out and get the ball to our playmakers and allow the pass or the run to dictate, what we do next to offer some balance.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Next, we got Kenyatta Cavill. I hope I said that right. Kenyatta from
no problem. It's
inside
Cavill.
the HBCU Sports Lab. Go ahead.
Thank you, Kyle. Coach George, wanted to ask you a little bit about your running game. What has made you so effective in the run, particularly against Lane, as you talked about? In a lot of ways, being one-dimensional, you're still able to put up 226 yards. That's including at the college level with sacks. Jalen were able to be effective. Why are you so effective in the run, it seems like, for most of the season, particularly in that matchup?
Well, that's a great question, and I thank you for it. That's our identity. That's how we're going to be built, and we're developing, who we are through the run, and we're going to try to develop balance through that. So once we are establishing that, and we become more efficient in our passing game, that's the block. That's a piece. So we're hanging our hat on something that's positive, and we're able to gain ground control through a multitude of running backs. You saw Star a couple weeks ago. Trey Boone got in and did a phenomenal job running the football. Jalen Rouse as well. So guys are finding who they are in this offense with more repetition. And when you're able to, when a defense knows what you're going to do and they can't stop it, they're on to something. I mean, that's something to be happy about. And we're talking about, honestly, a play, a stop. And we're looking at this completely different. So it's all about perspective. 0-4 does not look good, but when you look deep into it, we're 5 plays. You talk about 5 plays total on the year, we could be 3-1. So it's all about perspective. And that's what I tell my team. That's what I tell my staff, is that we're not going to be discouraged, but encouraged, because we have a team that's developing and the chemistry's coming together. And I don't know, when we're going to have our first win, but we have to stay persistent in the work. And once it comes, we have an identity. We have something we can hang our hat on and build on. So we're just not trying to draw up plays just to draw up plays. We're trying to create an identity, and that takes time.
Absolutely. Switching to Bethune-Cookman for homecoming. Obviously, you have all the festivities. That's not necessarily for the players and the coaches, right? That's for everybody else.
That's for y'all. I can't go to the step shows and, the black tie affair, all the glitz and glamour, all the parties and that. I'm trying to generate a victory, man. So, but, an HBCU homecoming is none like any other. The pageantry surrounded around it, the people that come around it, the energy, people that have, they circle that date every year to come home to TSU and to celebrate their school, to celebrate us, to celebrate the band, to celebrate, Black excellence. And it's an awesome time to be a part of that. So, yeah.
One last question I have for you in that same vein is with the defense. Your defense, getting some players back. I know some of those are on offense, but also on defense. In a lot of ways against some of the top teams in the country, particularly Jackson State earlier, you've been able to be pretty effective on the defensive side of the ball. Talk about some of the key players that are getting it in terms of what you want them to do as a team, particularly that's making your defense pretty effective throughout those games as you turn the corner and get into the important part, which is OVC play.
Right. Well, we getting back. We're down two of our safeties,
Okay.
Freewell and Gleason. Gleason's Freewell and Corey Gross. Played some young guys last week. But for the most part, you know, our defense struggled against Eastern Washington, relatively new. We have some new pieces and parts. Deshaun Watkins, a corner that is really coming on as a complete player, 6'4". You know, he's learning to really strike and hit and make plays against, you know, receivers in terms of interceptions. So that's coming along. So it's just a matter of us coming back together, getting healthy and playing as one. And like you said, OVC play is really where it's at. You know, I think if anything, these first 5 games are showing us who we are, how we handle adversity.
Absolutely.
Because that's going to expose who you are in terms of your character. And we have to refine that. So it is a blessing. So now I know exactly the spirit of this team and where it needs to go. And you're right, you know, the defensive side is going to get healthier and hopefully, you know, we can develop that chemistry, that trust, that discipline that we're looking for and get some wins.
Thank you for your time, Coach George. Thank you, Kyle Swartz. Good luck this weekend and I look forward to the matchup.
Appreciate you.
All right, Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Have a good day.